Brows look good. Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how I fill in my brows. I just filmed a video on this makeup look and it's probably going to go up after this video, so watch out for that. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so the products that I'm going to use today are the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in Taupe. I hope you can see this. Last time it was really bad. I'm going to apply that with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Brush. I think that's what it's called. It's number 12. It's got the angled brush on this end and the spoolie on the other end. This brush changed my brow game. Alright, so I'm just going to dip a little bit into the product, just a teeny bit. You probably can't see, but I'm just going to put a little bit on the top of the brush. And then I'm going to take it on the cap and just wipe it like that so that it's nice and flat and it's all concentrated on the tip. And usually throughout this process, I don't like go back into the pot itself. I'll just kind of like keep wiping my brush on the cap. And I just want to make sure that the bristles of that brush are really nice and straight. All right, so what I'm going to do first is go to the top of this arch and draw a line. Just really lightly. And I always do them at the same time. I don't do one and then go to the other, and that way I feel like you can make it even more easily. Otherwise one will be like totally different than the other one. I'm drawing that line. Just really super lightly. Make sure that you step back and look and kind of compare. This one's a little bit longer. It goes out farther this way. This one's a little bit shorter, so kind of have to compensate for that. Alright, so this whole time I'm just kind of like brushing back onto the cap to make sure that my bristles are nice and flat. So now I'm going to line underneath my brow, just connecting to the end of the tail. And the shape is really up to you. That was way too low. Right now we're just kind of like laying in the shape, the initial outline. Okay, now, again, just wiping on the cap, not picking up any additional product. I'm just going to go from the fattest part of my brow, and I'm going to draw a straight line connecting to that line where I was drawing the tail. I'm going to start right here because this is the fattest part, and I don't want it to be any thicker. So I'm just going to start where that is, and just draw a line connecting to the tail. And then I'm just going to kind of like, without picking up any more product, I'm just going to bring that forward. Wiping on the cap again to pick up a little bit more product. And then I'm going to fill the end in first, just really lightly, kind of building up to this part. And now that I've like concentrated most of the color there, I'm going to take what's left and just line the top of the brow, connecting to the tail, really lightly, just kind of defining that shape, but not drawing a line. I don't want it to be super harsh on the top. Alright, I'm going to pick up a little bit more product from the pot, just a tiny bit, and then wipe it back on the cap, keeping it nice and flat. Okay, so I'm just going to fill in really lightly my whole brow with the product, focusing on the areas that are more sparse. And I'm going with a much lighter hand the higher up and farther in to the front of the brow. And then when I get to this area, if there's like a buildup of product, I don't want it to look like I just drew a line there. So I'm going to kind of push it up with the brush and feather it into the hairs. Alright, so now picking up a little bit more product on my brush, I'm just going to make sure that it's really flat, concentrating the majority of the product on the very tip of the brush. I'm going to start filling in the sparse areas where there is no hair. So I'm going to start with the bottom. And I'm trying to keep the angle of my brush right flush with my skin. You don't want to go in like this because you'll get, you'll smudge it all over the place. Which isn't a huge deal. If you do mess up, we're going to go in and clean it up with concealer anyway, so it's not that big a deal. And in the sparse areas, it's really important to remember to follow the direction of your natural hairs. This brush is awesome. It really just does the work for you. So when I get to the front, I'm going to turn my brush this way because my hairs grow up and then they start going out. So I kind of just turn the brush and then I just tap it on the skin. So that it doesn't get way too harsh. Okay, so now that I've filled my brows, I'm going to go in and I'm going to clean them up with a little bit of concealer. So I'm going to use this concealer by CoverGirl. It's the Ready Set Gorgeous Concealer. Any concealer will work. I'm just going to tap it on the back of my... Can I say tap? Like one more time? I'm just going to tap it. Fuck. I'm just going to put it on the back of my hand. Just a tiny bit. You don't need a lot. And then I'm going to be using the e.l.f. concealer brush. I hope that you can see this. I hope this is better than last time. But it's just really tiny, flat brush. I'm going to pick up a very small amount of the concealer. And I'm just going to go underneath. Start laying it in. Right at the base of the brow. Kind of just connect, like creating that line first. And this is great because if you made any mistakes, you can just like erase them. And so I'm looking at it now. I'm kind of like looking down. This arch is a little bit higher, and I made this side a little bit thicker. So I'm going to go into this side, and I'm going to kind of like lift that up with the concealer. And they're not going to be perfect, but they can look better. So now I'm going to take that brush, and I'm just going to blend that concealer out really lightly. Okay, so now I'm going to do the top of the brow. I don't typically bring it in to the inner part of the brow unless I really messed up. And I'm going to draw that line really crisp. And that's really where I concentrate. It's like right on that corner of the tail. And then if like one of the arches seems higher than the other one, you can kind of use this to even them out. I think this one seems a little bit higher and a little more pointy, so I'm just going to kind of bring it down a little bit and round it out. Just slightly. And then I'm going to blend that out. And then if I feel like I went in a little bit too far in here, I won't take any extra concealer on the brush, but I'll just take what's left and kind of like feather it to soften up the front a little bit, just in case you go a little bit too far. So when I'm done filling my brows, I set them with a clear brow gel, and I use a few different ones, but I'm going to use the NYX Control Freak eyebrow gel. It's just a clear brow mascara, basically. It looks like this. It's like $6 or something. And this just helps set your brows in place so that they don't move. I don't have very unruly brow hairs, so it's not like a big deal, but I like to set them. It just feels better and it looks more polished to me. I do use the Anastasia Brow Wiz on days when I'm just running errands and I just want to fill them in really quick, or if I don't feel like drawing the individual hairs on my brows to make them look more natural, I'll just kind of like fill them quickly with the dip brow and then take the Brow Wiz and darken those areas that are more sparse. But 99% of the time, I would say I do my brows like this. If I'm wearing false lashes, this is how I do my brows. All right, well, I'm gonna go and film a holiday makeup tutorial. So, I guess that's all I got for you. Okay, bye. At 4 o'clock in the morning, my fire alarm battery started dying and it just started beeping. So it's been a rough day. Coffee. Tap it. I have one somewhere. Where did it go? Like, I can't lift one.